Now, Hull is taking centre stage this year as it hosts a series of arts events as the UK's City of Culture.
And just 4 months into the year, people have already been flooding to see what the city has to offer. Our arts correspondent, Colin Patterson, is there for us this morning. Oh, Colin, I recognise that. That's the poppies.
They're back. Hello, right from the centre of Hull. This is Queen Victoria Square. As you say, those are the ceramic poppies which were outside the Tower of London back in 2014, commemorating those who died in the First World War. This is the Maritime Museum in Hull. It used to be the dock office, and many of Hull's fishermen were involved in the First World War. In fact, their boats were used to look for mines and submarines. The Weeping Window behind me, just one of the many events happening right now for the City of Culture. In fact, this week, Hull went by 100 days as City of Culture. So we thought it was time for breakfast to come along, find out what's been going on, and I ended up in some pretty unusual places.
The place with a smell of carpet, overalls, and the makeshift fire.
Hull, City of Culture, where even taxis are being turned into theatres.
And he'd raise us up by pumping a handle up and down.
For the next 3 months, Wayne Jackson is performing his show, Now Then, about people's memories of Hull, to an audience of 6 in the back of his father's cab.
It's quite close, and the show is only 20 minutes, so I'm doing it kind of 8 times a day. So it's demanding and challenging.
And his dad is loving it.
It's absolutely brilliant. It's combining my son's work and mine. And we've always been so proud of him.
Had you ever done anything arty before?
Nothing at all whatsoever.
And venues have been popping up all over the city. This week's big opening, Flood, a State of the Nation parable, is performed on a floating stage right in the middle of a residential area.
These people in their flats have been looking down upon us for 6 weeks. We've been chatting to them, we've been to local primary schools to say hello, to teach them a song that's in the play. We have a little boy called Jim who comes by every day on his way back from school and says, "What are you doing?"
And at that very moment, who should arrive but Jim for his daily inspection, proudly sharing the title the crew have bestowed upon him.
Being executive producer.
Excellent, that's a great title. It's a small example of how people of all ages have been getting involved since Hull's Year in the Spotlight began on January the 1st with a musical firework display. Other highlights so far have included the visit of enormous sculpture The Blade and the Humber Bridge being given a musical accompaniment by Opera North.
It's just been a magical start to the year. We've seen hundreds of thousands of residents getting involved, but also people coming from all over to experience Hull for the first time.
And those who've lived in Hull all their lives have noticed a difference.
It's just brightened everything up. Everything up, it's lovely. It's a pleasure, actually, to walk around town.
And there's still 8.5 months to go. Yeah, 250 days to go. Let's find out what can be expected from the rest of Hull City of Culture. Here are 2 men that know all about it. Kofi Smiles, the BBC Face of Hull 2017, and Darren Hales from Hull City Culture. Let's start with you, Kofi. I was last here, January the 1st, for the fireworks, for breakfast. What have I missed out on? What's been going on?
Well, obviously, the poppies have been and gone. The Blade has been and gone. The Ferens has had an amazing opening, and it's still continuing to get people coming through.
This is the art gallery. It's going to be hosting the Turner Art Prize in September.
Yes, and looking forward. Well, before that, we're going to have Skin, which is going to showcase Spencer Tunit's Sea of Hull painting, photos, which saw 3,500 people all turn up in the city centre, naked or painted blue. It was phenomenal.
Yeah, did you go for it?
No, I couldn't. I don't know what my mum would say if I turned up doing something like that.
Darren, we're hearing a little in my report there about how people are getting involved. How have you gone about trying to make sure this isn't an elitist thing?
Well, what we've reworked is the city realm here. If you look around it, we've spent £25 million doing up the public realm, which means that it's a space that people can enjoy and we can host a lot of outdoor art. So when we had the Made in Hull, we had 340,000 people from Hull and the surrounding area.
That's more than the population of Hull.
Absolutely. So it just goes to show how many people have come and visited the city in the first few weeks, and that was for a free festival that obviously people could take part in and come along and see firsthand. And there've been many such events all year, and the place is really buzzing.
Thank you. And Kofi, if people want to find out about what's been going on, you've got a special programme today.
Yeah, it's going to be, the first episode is going to be on at 12:30 on the news channel, and it's basically going to be looking at my time in Iceland last week when we spoke to John Grant, who's going to be bringing over the North Atlantic Flux Festival at the end of April, and we're going to be catching up with Barbara Butterick, and also we're going to be catching up with Maureen Lipman. It's going to be great.
Yeah, that is on the news channel today at 12:30 and 8 o'clock if you want to find out what's been going on in Hull. We'll be back here later in the programme to speak to more organisers and performers.
Oh, Colin, it's lovely to see you. We'll talk to you again very soon. As you said, much more from Hull later on in the programme. I think if you want a place, a last-minute destination to get away this Easter weekend, we found you.
Why not?
We?
Why not? 6:56 is the time. That means it's time to get the news, travel and weather where you are.